Shanton.
And morning, I'm Councillor David Curtis.
Thank you. Present with me are members, also present with me are Kira Keller from Democratic Services, Nigel Bell, Legal Officer, and Vicky Goodman, Licensing Officer. Thank you. So, moving on to the second item, any apologies for absence?
We have no apologies.
Thank you. Third item, disclosure of interests. Do any committee members have any interests that they would like to declare in relation to the item on the agenda? Okay, thank you. So, moving on to the business for this morning, we're here to look at the private hire for vehicle with Mr. Singh. So this is a private hire vehicle extension, licence extension for Unicorn Cars Limited. So what we are to here is to consider a request from Mr. R. Singh of Unicorn Cars Limited, dated 3rd of September 2024, for an extension in relation to a private hire vehicle licence P627, vehicle registration UN65ORN, as this vehicle now exceeds the maximum age of a vehicle as set out in the policy of the Council. So I now hand over to the Licensing Officer to present the application. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. So to advise panel, this item was removed from the last licensing panel, which took place in November last year. The matter was removed from that committee due to the vehicle requiring repair and it being off the road at a garage being repaired. This was because of damage to the sliding door. At the time, the vehicle was formally suspended from being a private hire vehicle, with the suspension once lifted once those repairs had been made. As the vehicle was at a garage, it could not be viewed by you, hence the item being removed and rescheduled for today. You have this morning managed to view the vehicle. The vehicle is a Mercedes Vito, registration UN65ORN, first registered on the 20th of April 2016. Following a request from Mr. Singh, who's here today, to seek an extension to the Council's age policy for a temporary licence, a temporary licence was issued pending today's committee. I have provided you with an updated licence because of the moving of the panels. We had to extend that again slightly. So you should have before you an amended licence to replace that is shown on page 15 of the report. At the time of this committee, the vehicle is now approximately 8 years and 9 months old, not 8 years and 7 months as shown in the report. The vehicle therefore already exceeds the Council's policy by 1 year and 9 months. In line with the policy for this Council, when the licence was renewed, the vehicle was mechanically tested and found to be mechanically fit. The latest MOT and taxi test are included in the reports pack for you to review, and the next MOT for this vehicle, so the 6-monthly MOT, is due during the month of March. For clarity, the purpose of the policy of this Council concerning the age of a vehicle is to try and ensure that licensed vehicles are safe, reliable, and as comfortable as possible, and to maintain overall standards. The policy guides but does not bind or fetter the discretion that the Council have, and the licensing panel will have to decide whether the circumstances of this particular case justify the exception. And Mr. Singh is here today to explain and justify why he is seeking an exemption to our policy. You simply have 3 options today. Your first option is that you can exercise your discretion and extend Mr. Singh's private hire vehicle for up to 1 year from the 6th of September 2024. You can, again, exercise your discretion and renew Mr. Singh's vehicle in respect of this vehicle for a period of time that the licensing panel sees fit. Or you can refuse Mr. Singh's application because it does not comply with this Council's vehicle licensing policy. That is it in a nutshell, unless you have any questions for me.
Okay, so we established that we don't have any questions from the panel. So I now invite Mr. Singh to make his representation. Thank you.
For the lateness, because I thought it's 10 o'clock that I have to be here, and I had timed myself accordingly. Before I give my submissions, Councillor Shenton, if you don't mind, are you from Bailey? You represent Bailey?
We do know each other, represent the Wootton Wowen ward.
Yes,
but this is an unrelated matter. As far I live in Wootton Wowen, not in Bailey. So it's as I say, I know who you are, and obviously, and I know we've met at previous licensing panels as well.
yes, I mean, just for the benefit of the chair and all the members, Councillor Shenton, what he's saying is right, but he has been a vehement opposer of an application, a planning application that I had put in Bailey for the last 4.5 years. At every step it was opposed. He could not attend the committee. Finally, it had to go on a vote in a committee. I just want to highlight that, and it's up to the chair to take a view on that.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. This is a completely separate instance, and Councillor Shenton will be here considering the issue in hand. Okay, it will have no bearing on what planning applications or any other applications that are ahead of this committee or any other committee. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I just thought it's appropriate to mention that.
And just to confirm that, Mr. Singh, as far as I'm concerned, I'm here with an open mind, as I was at the last hearing that we had on a previous vehicle. I'm here with an open mind. The planning application is something totally different, and that's not related to this. So I have a totally open mind on this.
It is answering my response to that. I appreciate that you have an open mind, and you should have an open mind, but you were quite vehemently opposed to that application till the last stage, and ultimately it was decided in my favor.
Singh,
so I think there may be a level of disgruntlement on your side.
Mr. Singh, we're not actually discussing that. Thank you. We are discussing your licensing for your vehicle.
I fully appreciate that.
And we will be minding that. Thank you. Can we move on, and can you make your representation?
Yes.
Thank you.
This.
We're just having a 2-minute adjournment, okay?
That's fine.
Legal advice. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Singh. We've had a quick discussion and clarification from our legal officer. Could you just...
Mr. Singh, the two matters are completely unrelated. Okay, this is a licensing application. It's completely unrelated to planning. I would also say that this application before us today is actually made by Unicorn Cars Limited, the company. So I know you're speaking for the company, but the application is being made by the company. It's not being made by you in person. But I'm satisfied that the two matters are completely unrelated. And you've heard that Councillor Shenton say he's come to this panel this morning with an open mind.
That they are not related. They are related because the same person. But anyway, we can move forward, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Singh. Can we move on to your representation,
Yes.
please?
So, ma'am, this vehicle in question, UN65ORN, was purchased brand new by Unicorn Cars in April 2016, and it has always been a private hire vehicle. It ferries 8 passengers plus a driver. It's not wheelchair accessible. It has always been licensed only with Stratford District Council as private hire, barring the period when the pandemic was on for good about 18 months or so, when, though the vehicle was licensed and the licenses were extended without fees, for which I'm grateful to Stratford District Council, practically the vehicles did not apply. So my submission to the Honourable Committee would be, firstly, though the vehicle is above the 7-year policy for private hire vehicles, and I will come to that why that is an archaic policy and that needs to be amended. I have been with Stratford District Council for 13 years and it is still 7 years. The vehicles and technology has moved so much ahead, and we are still, when I say we, mean Stratford District Council is still at 7 years policy age, whereas neighbouring councils, say for example Wolverhampton has got 12 years, Warwick District Council has got 12 years, and as long as it passes the MOT, it is every 6 months. But that be by the by, I just thought it is pertinent to mention that something should be done, otherwise we'll always be catching up and having these committee meetings because of the age policy of private hire vehicles. It's also important, Madam Chair, to mention that same vehicles or same manufacturers can be on a Hackney for 12 years, whereas for private hire it's only 7 years. Okay, with private and as a private hire vehicle, a vehicle would do less mileage as compared to Hackney, purely because Hackneys ply more as compared. We have both kind of vehicles, so that's how I'm talking about figures for the last 13 years that we have. Particularly this vehicle, as of today morning, it has done 107,200 miles, which is, if you see, over a period of almost 8 years, it comes to just about 13 or 14,000 miles a year. So that goes to say the usage of these vehicles. Our vehicles on private hire are selectively used. They are premium vehicles, they are premium brands. They're garaged and kept inside, they're looked after well. They're maintained by the dealership, which in this case is Mercedes-Benz, and not by local garages, and least of all by ourselves. So that's why the vehicles are quite robust. With the 107,000 miles, I think it can easily do equal amount more, because I have a similar car which is as a Hackney and is touching 250,000, very robust, no problem. Just before the vehicle was to be presented for the MOT, just out of my own free will and for my own satisfaction, I put it through a MOT and a taxi test on the 5th of January 2025, and it has passed with flying colors with no issues. And I just want to mention that, which means as far as Stratford District Council is concerned, it is okay for another 6 months before it becomes due. I didn't have to do that just for my own satisfaction and also for the information of the chair and the committee, that is where this vehicle stands. The next point is about the cost and the economics of all this. This brand new vehicle, when we purchased in 2016, we paid about £35,000. Now, if this vehicle has to be bought, it is £72,000. It's almost double the price. It is a considerable cost. It's not few percentage, it is almost double. I think the chair would consider that while making a decision to increase the age policy on or waiver the age policy for this particular vehicle. I would again reiterate the point that Stratford District Council do need to look at the 7-year policy for a private hire in the light of the points that I have raised, which is what the other councils are doing. And it is not going away by a year or 2 years. It is, 5 years or 6 years or 4 years. That's how much is the difference. And I think I've been licensed with Stratford District Council since 2011, and the age policy has been same. And technology is far more better. If I was to buy the same vehicle today, it does not come up for first service for 40,000 miles. That is the kind of technology that is available in terms of maintenance, service, and the spare parts. So that needs to be, considered kindly, just for the sake of parity, justice, and being equitable, because these councils are in the same country. Lastly, Madam Chair, the point about the vehicles not plying during the pandemic time. As we all know, the country or the world almost came to a standstill, and these vehicles were not plying. That has to be taken into account while wavering off the age policy, because I do feel that that is an important factor, and that should be considered by the panel. And if you have any other questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. Otherwise, that's my submission for yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. So I just have some questions from the panel. I mean, my first question for you is that the vehicle licence gets renewed every year, doesn't it?
Yes, that's right, ma'am.
So every year you diligently apply for it and you get a response back. And also you've had already done MOT and taxi, so you very much take the servicing and the licensing of your vehicles very seriously.
Of course.
So were you aware, and you seem to be aware, that vehicles are only licensed for 7 years, yet you've had this car on the road for now 8 years, was it 8 years and 9 months?
Yes.
And you're over that limit.
Yes.
So why are you, even though you know those rules, why are you still running around with this car, if you don't mind me asking?
Ma'am, firstly, when the license was applied, it is just applied, we get a reminder from the council that the license has to be applied, and as per that, as a procedure, we just do that. I didn't know any better that the 7-year policy has been expired till this vehicle was, came into the scanner, if you like. And when it came, then I checked, and then yes, it was more than 7 years. It was not knowingly when last time or the time before I applied that I knew that it has crossed the 7-year policy. And to be honest, it was the back of my mind that it is 12 years, the same as the Hackneys. For some reason, I always believed that. But that was incorrect for me to believe that.
So you have a number of other cabs that you are running, Hackney carriages and private vehicles that you are running from that place in Beardstown?
That's correct, ma'am.
How many?
So I have got 3 Hackney carriages as of this year and 3 private hires. But last year we had about 11.
Okay, so you have a fair amount in your fleet.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and are you aware of any of the other vehicles coming up for that 7 years at all?
Oh, no, this is the only one.
Okay, I'm glad to hear it. Thank you.
Mr. Singh, very quick one. You mentioned that you put the car through another MOT on the 5th of January.
Correct.
Have you passed that
Yes.
certificate over?
Well, how this works, Councillor Shenton, is that the garage emails and scans the MOT certificate as well as taxi test. It's not only the MOT, but it's always also the taxi test. Both of them go through. So they email that to the council directly. Okay, so we are not involved in that process. But they inform us that yes, it has been passed, and that MOT is available online. You know, once it's done, it is available online. I just saw it before I came today, so it was done on 5th and it's passed first time. No problem.
Councillor, excuse me. Yes, that is correct. The garage would send it. I will need to check my records that we've got that, because I must admit that didn't show up prior to today's meeting. So while we're talking, I will do a bit of checking.
I think because it was not expected, Councillor Shenton, so maybe, you know, the license was not expecting that, so maybe that's why they're not look out for it. Normally, they are pretty good at that. So that is where we are with it.
Thank you. I think.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Singh. Just a comment that this is the licensing panel for Stratford District. Other authorities may have other policies, but what we're looking at today relates to the policy of Stratford District Council, as I'm sure you are well aware.
I fully appreciate that.
So, can I just two questions really? You mentioned obviously that the vehicle wasn't used for plying during the pandemic. Can you confirm how long the vehicle was off the road during that period?
Well, Councillor Curtis.
Roughly.
Well, as soon as the pandemic started, you know, our primary role of these vehicles are ferrying children. We have a number of Warwickshire County Council contracts. And then also we have some private, you know, premium contracts with local businesses and local people. So as soon as, you know, the country went into lockdown first time, out of memory, I know it was in March 2020. From then till almost we came out of the pandemic, the vehicles were not plying, they were just standing.
And it's quite clear in the policy. The licensing panel will have to decide whether the circumstances of the case justify the exception. And I'm just wondering, the information you've given us is very interesting, but I haven't heard any evidence of why this case before the panel is an exception and should be considered as an exception to our policy.
Right. Councillor Curtis, it is the exception in the case of UN 65 ORN is one is its mileage. It's only done about 107,000 miles in almost 9 years. That'll, you know, if you do a simple multiplication, it comes down to about 12 or 13,000 miles a year, which is very, very less and very, very, I would say, economical for a private hire. And the reason for that is partially the pandemic, 18 months or 22 months when, you know, there was a lockdown and the vehicles did not ply. Everything was extended. In the licenses were extended without cost to the operators. The vehicle licenses were extended. The personal badges were extended. So I don't see why not the age policy for the vehicles that had fallen during that time should be extended at least by the time when the pandemic took place. So that is point two. And lastly, the vehicle is in good condition. You've seen the vehicle. It passes MOT. You can't get a more robust brand on the road than a Mercedes-Benz. And we buy all our vehicles brand new. They are maintained from the dealership. They are garaged and they are looked after. That's why.
With respect, Mr. Singh, I don't think that is exceptional. What we're looking for, if we are to go against the policy, is exceptional. We may consider that the mileage might be exceptional, but I would say that all of the vehicles that we see are in extremely good condition and have been maintained by main service dealers. And I would just make the point that it is not the role of this panel to change policy. That would be something done out with the scope of this panel.
But Councillor Curtis, it affects us as the user. You understand?
I understand that,
Yeah,
but
it's
it
the
is
same
not.
council.
But it is not the role of this panel to make changes to policy. That would be outside this.
I do appreciate it.
Thank you, Chair.
And perhaps the wrong forum to raise this issue, but this is an issue, and I think it should be, you know, addressed at some point.
Thank you for your comments, Mr Singh. Does the licensing officer have anything to add? Thank you.
Yeah, if I could just jump in relation to the policy. The policy is due for review. It is on our agenda to look at that this year. I can't disagree with Mr Singh and his opinion of the difference between our Hackney age policy and our private hire age policy currently. And I think I mean, outside of this forum, it might be that we probably look at that separately initially, than we wait for it to sort of become part of the whole review of the policy. But it is definitely on our agenda to look at.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yes. And actually, I mean, the policy, the age policy was amended fairly recently. It was amended in 2023, wasn't it? To increase from 6 years to 7 years. 2013, sorry. That's 2013. Oh, that is, yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Bolton.
Just a very quick one. Having checked on there, I can see that the MOT is on there on the government website. So, yeah.
Okay. So, any further questions from the panel at all? From licensing officer? Okay, thank you. Right. So, we're now moving into deliberation. Mr Singh would be advised of the decision within 5 working days. Thank you for attending the meeting today. So now we're moving on to item 5, urgent business. Is there any urgent business? No from all. So that's the end of the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you.